Some more bad news is coming Alec Baldwin's way after it was announced that the script supervisor for the film Rust, Mamie Mitchell, will also be suing him along with other producers on the film over the accidental shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. The misfire on set shook the world of Hollywood and took the life of an up-and-coming cinematographer, as well as injuring the film's director Joel Souza. The incident took place during a rehearsal when Baldwin was handed a prop weapon that was deemed to be safe by the film's armorer, as well as the assistant director. In a tearful statement, the script supervisor Mamie Mitchell explained why she was going to be filing this lawsuit against Alec Baldwin. In the complaint, she is quoted as saying, "Alec Baldwin intentionally, without just cause or excuse, cocked and fired the loaded weapon even though the upcoming scene to be filmed did not call for the cocking and firing of the firearm. Mr. Baldwin chose to play Russian roulette with a loaded weapon without checking it and without having the armorer do so. His behavior and that of the producers were intentional acts and or omissions without any just cause or excuse and with utter disregard of the consequences." As I mentioned earlier, some of the other people that have been named as defendants in this case are the armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and the assistant director David Halls, as well as several production companies. Prior to this new lawsuit, there had also been one filed by the film's head of lighting, Sergei Svetnoy. He filed a lawsuit against Alec Baldwin and others, alleging that their negligence resulted in him having severe emotional distress that would haunt him forever. To make matters worse, the attorneys of the crew members for this film also suggested that this may not have actually been an accident at all. They actually insinuated that this could have been sabotage. Hannah's attorney said earlier this month, "I believe that somebody who would do that would want to sabotage the set, want to prove a point, want to say they're disgruntled, they're unhappy." However, the Santa Fe County District Attorney Mary Carmack, who will be the prosecutor in this case, rejected any conspiracy theories. She also said that she understands that more than one live round had been discovered on the set, but would not allow that to cloud her judgment of what took place. Mamie Mitchell's attorney Gloria Allred also made a statement on this recent lawsuit from her client and said, "Today we filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles County Superior Court on behalf of our client Mamie Mitchell against actor-producer Alec Baldwin and numerous other producers of the movie Rust. In our lawsuit, we allege that on October 21st, 2021, Alexander Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, fired a loaded weapon, taking the life of Halyna Hutchins, injuring Joel Souza, and causing physical and emotional injuries to Mamie Mitchell, the script supervisor, standing in the line of fire when the weapon went off." Gloria also stated that in this particular scene, the script did not actually call for Alec to be discharging a weapon. Another point of attack for many was the assistant director Dave Halls, who was accused of having prior issues with safety on set. Therese Magpal Davis, who worked in the wardrobe department for the movie, defended Dave though, as well as explaining the misfires, and said, "The misfires were accidental discharges, which are more common than you think. Yes, there is a difference, and the weapons were checked immediately afterwards and the discharges were announced on set and apologized for. I was right there. We had several safety meetings, sometimes multiple per day. Our AD never seemed flippant about safety. He may have in other shows, but he wasn't like that on ours. Obviously, he screwed up majorly that day. He was stressed because the camera walkout had put us an hour and a half behind, and he made the most horrible call he could make." According to a text that was obtained by the media, one of the union members who had walked off the set of the Baldwin-produced movie said, "The entire camera crew walked off that morning for that exact reason. Last night, we each wrote resignation letters. We cited everything from lack of payment for 3 weeks, taking our hotels away despite asking for them in our deals, lack of COVID safety, and on top of that, poor weapon safety, poor on-set safety, period. We wrote about this exact issue last night and walked this morning because of it. That's not in any of the papers. They brought in 4 non-union guys to replace us and tried calling the cops on us. Only people that stayed were Halyna, the DP, and Reed, the B-Steady op. She had a kid, man. I can't believe it." That day, they did end up having to start late because the production had to scramble to find a replacement camera crew, and according to Joel Souza, they ended up only being able to work with 1 camera. According to the search warrant, aside from Alec Baldwin, 2 other people had handled the prop revolver for that scene, which included armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed and then assistant director Dave Halls, who was the one to actually hand Baldwin the prop. Due to the COVID-19 protocols, the armorer had to set up 3 prop revolvers on a cart outside of Bonanza Creek Ranch's church set. However, when Dave grabbed one of the guns, he claims to have not realized that there were actually live rounds in the one that he was handing to Baldwin. Joel Souza also told the detectives that the cast and crew had taken a break for lunch, and when they returned for filming, he wasn't sure if the props had been checked again. The affidavit then goes on to say, "Joel said as far as he knows, no one gets checked for live ammunition on their person prior and after the scenes are being filmed. The only thing checked are the firearms to avoid live ammunition being in them." Joel stated that there should never be live rounds whatsoever near or around the scene. When they came back from their lunch though, the cameras had to move to a new angle because of shadows, and as Baldwin was explaining how he would be drawing the revolver, the prop discharged. At the time, Joel was looking over Halyna's shoulder, and when the prop discharged, he saw Halyna grab her midsection and then stumble backwards. She could be overheard saying that she couldn't feel her legs as people around her helped assist her to the ground. Alec Baldwin is said to be cooperating fully with the investigation, but only time will tell if he begins to push back on all of these lawsuits that that are coming his way. As always though, we would love to hear your thoughts on today's story, so don't forget to drop us a comment down below. But for now, I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy, YouTube, or at least try.